Come get your money. Pay Lake carp fishing with Donald Barrow.
Donald got the top of that hour with a 29-1. You'll come get your money.
Had a beautiful day Saturday. Right now, it's like 7, 8 degrees out here in Piedmont, North Carolina. It's Sunday. I got out yesterday, as you know, last week. It was a great weekend Sunday, and fishing at Carlton's. People were catching buffalo like I'd never seen before. Well, I got Sunday I woke up, it was pretty cold, but I got out there by 10:30, got my lines out by 11:30, took my time. I was all alone, so recording is a little tough. I tell you what makes it tougher is I threw out into the Dead Sea. I overthought it. I should have, there's a couple guys fishing where I was last week, and I didn't want to crowd them. So I tried a couple of different spots. I tried over by 9. I always want to fish 9, but it always gets taken pretty quick in the draw, and it just wasn't working for me. I caught one little yellow, and surprisingly, it was on a carp nut, but I wasn't using it. I had packed bait around the second pickup. I only had it on one of my hooks, and but it seemed to work. I'm not sure if it was the bread or if it was the carp nut. And then after about 2 hours, and after when you're catching a lot of fish, and then the next week you're not, and nobody on the lake is really catching that many. So I tried another home run spot. I went to 4, and with 4 you get 3, 2, 1. It's a corner spot. It's one of my favorite spots on the lake, but it's a hit or miss a lot of times. It can be a great spot, or it can be a disaster. And it was acting like a disaster for the rest of the afternoon. When you have a slow day and you're not catching, you're trying. I am. I was trying some different pickups, some different setups, and I said, what the heck, let's try the carp nuts the way they're designed. Carp nuts, there'll be a better picture. It's kind of wobbling around, and I'm not going to get it to stop too bad. But these carp nuts by Clifford Honeycutt were the ticket yesterday. It was flat. I was fishing for buffalo. I was throwing mud pigs, the foam line indicators, and I never use those, but it was sunny, and I'll probably show a few pictures. It was buffalo, and the bite was ultra light. I know I missed a few fish, and that's why I made sure I went to the mud pigs. The foam, well, they're not foam. It's like a plastic that's 3D cut, and they work great. I didn't work great. They were they were beating me, and so in my corner, it's not really a buff spot, but you can throw to the rope and you'll find buff there. But I wasn't having any action. I saw a few signs of fish, but not many. I had a few small runs on the bank, so I really concentrated. And to be honest, I caught one little fish, but my day was pretty much over. And I missed a big run, or not a big run, just a quick run, in the corner, and I had thrown there quite a bit. So I said I was wrapping up. I was going to fish for about 30 minutes. So I grabbed the carp nut rig, and it's got 2 carp nut, and I fished it the way it was designed. No bait pile, no packing bait around it. 2 carp nuts, dipped them in Wicked. What was I using? it wasn't grape. It was, it was strawberry. It was sinful strawberry. Dipped it in sinful strawberry. Uh, and I'll talk more about that in a minute because I believe Ron's coming out. He has some glug style bait flavor, and I think he's working with Clifford at Carp Nuts to produce something. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm telling you, I just you know, put the flavor you want to put into a little jar and dip these in. Like I said, I think I was 50%, one on traditional bait and one I caught on the Carp Nut. I was using some chow, some bread. Nothing was tearing them up. And so then like I said, I was 30 minutes down. I'd missed the fish. I put that rod in. I took the rod that had carp nuts on it, dipped it, no pack bait, and just threw it into the corner. And, stuck it in there for a last minute, And I'd actually started the truck, removed the beepers. I believe I even removed the indicators. I was by myself, and when you're by yourself, you kind of, and I was fun fishing. So, when you normally fish a tournament and it's the end of the tournament, you kind of pre-pack stuff up, and then at the last minute you scramble. Well, I was just moving slow as a turtle, and I was, putting something in the truck, maybe a chair, and thank God the last thing, it's just a practice of mine, is you always put the net in last, and it paid off because all of a sudden the mud pig, the carp nut setup took off, and there was a real run, not one of these buffaloes nibbling, or even the yellow carp were nibbling. It was cold. I tell you, the water, and was freezing, and I set the hook. I didn't even think the fish was cold because I really thought I had a small fish, another little, 10, 12-pound fish. And I wind him in. And just as he got closer to the bank before I netted him, he took off, and I didn't see him. I was almost laughing at him. I was like, yeah, you go, little boy. And next thing you know, I pull him up, and he's got a big tail, and he's 19.2. Now, that's not a world beater, and I looked this weekend at some of the big money tournaments, and they were catching big fish. But for me, on a day where I was fishing in the wrong side of the pond, and I say that because the guys that I didn't want to crowd, they moved a little farther down to where I was going to go, and that's one of my favorite spots, around 22, I think. And one guy stayed, and that last hour before the sun went down had to have been the magic hour for him because his alarm kept going off, and I keep looking over, and he's netting fish. He was ways down. I couldn't tell if he caught a monster or not. But the bottom line was I knew I was on the wrong side of the pond. And a little tip, in the wintertime, you can be like what I did and sometimes if you can't move, that's what you got to do is you just got to throw. I piled in on a corner. I picked a spot in my sets because there wasn't no winning spots where they were, I didn't find a spot. I guessed on my pickups. They turned out to be pineapple butternut, but they were dipped. All my pickups were dipped by that point. I start out with, I start off not dipping my stuff, hoping that something works. Because I hate dipping, but since I was throwing carp nuts, it just made sense, so I stuck at it. I threw my baits tight together for the last hour, just hoping basically to pile and get something started. And like I said, the 19.2, it was just a validation. Like I said, there was no great fight. 19.2 doesn't get you a picture, but in the middle of winter, it's December 13th, and to be catching nice fish and to having such a beautiful day. And then to finding out, you know, that these carp nuts are the real deal. And I can tell you how amazing this is. I have a partner that's kind of laid up right now. He can't pack the ball because of his hands are giving him so much trouble in his wrist. And if you can catch fish on these carp nuts without using a pack bait, that's amazing. You know, I'll be honest, part of the reason I hate cold weather fishing is if I'm dealing with chow in particular, I wet my hands to pack the bait. And if I don't have to pack a bait, I don't even have to make pack bait. I can just pull up, dip. I put pickups on here. So I put pickups on the hook, and I'm even not sure you even need to hook the pickups. I know they'll hit that bead, and I know it's coming out in a couple other bigger sizes. But even just putting a pickup on and flooding it, dipping it into some your bait flavor of your choice, or you could have several, little cups, and the flexibility and when you cast, not having to worry about throwing the ball off. Now I can pack a bait as well as many. Is better. I can hold my own, and I make a pretty good bait. But I got to tell you, casting no weight and just the lead is a heck of a lot easier. It never comes off. You don't have to throw that looping cast to protect the bait. You can really just throw it like a bass lure. Just zip it and put it right exactly on the spot you want to put. One cast I put it right on the buoy. It bounced on the buoy, and it actually bounced over, and I pulled it back, and it was like any other day I'd be winding that in because the ball would be long gone. But there is no ball, so there was nothing to worry about. It was awesome. So look for them. I saw tonight they put a post. They'll have a web page up. They have that bait baller and some other goodies. Good deal. And I know Mud Pigs, they have those, I was talking about those straps for your rod. They're still awesome. I had the two-tone Mud Pigs. They were green and they were purple. And the purple in the sunlight was definitely easier to see. But another use for those two tones is I had some bread and some chow out, and I was like, okay, the green, if it's green, the green is pointed at me, that's chow, purple, red, or vice versa. So just a little flexibility there, so I was happy. Pig flipper pickups, I just use them, they stay on the line. And again, I told you about the Sinful strawberry. Simple grape and simple strawberry. It's just a staple with me. I'm out of town this week, so I'm hoping to get this video out Monday, or actually Sunday night. So I'm not sure if I'll have one before Christmas. I got a lot of talking to do, but most likely I will. But if I don't, have a blessed holiday. And I thank everybody for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe. And thank you. Appreciate it.